What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. I'm Anthony.
And this is James, and today we're doing a little bonus mini episode review on Zack Snyder's new film, Army of the Dead, which we just watched on Saturday night. And we loved it so much that we wanted to talk about it for a little bit. And the first portion of this episode and review will be spoiler-free, but in the latter half of it, we will be doing spoilers. So we'll let you know when the spoilers will be dropping. But until then, don't worry, the first half will only be talking about anything that's been shown in the trailer or common knowledge.
Yeah, and this movie just flat out is a ton of fun. If you like zombie movies, if you like action, this is your cup of tea. It's just nonstop. It's thrilling. It's pretty funny at times. It's pretty hysterical. And you see stuff in this movie that you've never seen in a zombie movie before. And I just love the concept because when I watched the trailer for the first time, they set it up to be like, oh, is this just some kind of heist movie? And then the brilliant idea behind the entire concept is that the heist is going to happen in this quarantine zone of Las Vegas where zombies have taken over.
Yeah, so basically these mercenaries get hired to pull off the ultimate gamble in Las Vegas and break into the quarantine zone and inside this Las Vegas world of zombies, which has taken it over, to pull off a $200 million heist in one of the casinos and they're working for one of the owners of the casino.
And this movie's kind of full circle for Zack Snyder because his breakout film debut was Dawn of the Dead, which is a really great zombie remake of the classic film, which we saw in theaters, I remember when we were kids, and he did a great job with that. And so I think that this zombie idea maybe was something he's had for a while, but since he was doing DC for so long, he couldn't make any other movies, and so I think this idea he's had percolating for a bit.
Yeah, I think the idea was first developed in like 2006 or something like that, and it's just kind of just been in the back burner.
Maybe like a sequel to Dawn of the Dead.
But you can tell he's been thinking about the zombie genre for a while because he hasn't done anything that's non-superhero since like Sucker Punch. I think that was his like last.
And in a way, like that's superhero-ish.
It's comic booky, But you can tell Zach's been thinking about the genre and how he'd make a new version of a zombie movie because you see things in the zombie movie you'd never really seen before. We have like different kinds of zombies, which is really cool. There's like these intelligent zombies, which they bring up in the trailer, obviously.
There's a zombie hierarchy.
Yeah, and there's like even like culture involved with these zombies. It's really cool and interesting. And it has the vibe sort of Zombieland at times, like this fun, action-heavy, laughing, high-energy zombie flick. It has like the intensity and scariness of Train to Busan, and it also has like the stakes of 28 Weeks Later because Dawn of the Dead is like a small, like we see the scale of like zombies taking over like a town, and they're outside the mall, and we have these great shots of like thousands and thousands of zombies. But Zach ups that to have an entire major United States city taken over entirely by zombies, Las Vegas. And so he brings it to a whole new level in terms of scale. 28 Weeks Later, it's like that, but we don't really see the concept of millions of zombies.
Yeah, it wasn't since World War Z where you saw zombie hordes as big as this. And in showing Las Vegas getting taken over and overrun by zombies is such a fun scene. And I really think that the best actor in this movie is Dave Bautista. I never thought I would say, but he's become a good actor. Like, he really honed in on this craft, and he is the heartbeat of this movie. He's the lead of the movie. I think he does a fantastic job leading the film.
Yeah, and Dave, I think, really has proven in this film that he's a solid action lead man. And he's been in lead movies before, but like mostly he's known as Drax the Destroyer in the Marvel films. But I think this is like, Dave Bautista, give him a franchise, give him a movie on his own. He's fine.
Yeah,
he's fine as the leader.
He'll definitely get a franchise eventually, I think, for sure.
And I love the filming of this movie, the cinematography. And Zack Snyder actually was the director of photography. He was a cinematographer on this movie, which is so cool. It's the first time he's done it on a feature film, and it shows you he wrote, directed, and filmed it. So this movie is such a passion project for him, and I think that shows in every scene and every shot. And I love the way he shot it. So for Army of the Dead, Zack Snyder did a ton of handheld shots. He created a very shallow depth of field, which for those of you who don't know much about cameras, that means everything besides the subject that's in focus is out of focus. It's kind of like realistic to if you're looking at something close to your face. And he used old Canon Dream lenses from the 60s and 70s, which he's been collecting and buying off eBay for years. And these are 50mm lenses. And he even had the camera company, Red, so he shot the film on Red's, designed custom cameras to be made for him so that he could use these old 60s Canon Dream lenses with the Red cameras.
You actually saw the first hint of this style in Justice League. in Zack Snyder's Justice League in the last scene, with the Joker and Batman in the Doomsday world.
That's actually the only shot in that movie that was digital too.
Yeah, so he filmed this entire movie like that because that scene he filmed like literally at his place with the red camera, all close up 50mm lenses with the shallow depth of field. If you remember, that's what this whole movie looks like. That exact same kind of cinematography.
Great point. And the scale is immense. And the script of this movie, it's not perfect. Of course, there are horror cliches all over it for sure. I mean, some of the dialogue is blah. There are a lot of moments where you're like, "What are you doing? Turn around!"
There were moments.
Hurry up!
There was times where I was like, "Zach, you should have gotten a co-writer."
But overall, the idea and concept is so fun. It's a new take on zombies. And because of that, and because Zach's such a great director and the action sequences are fantastic, I don't care about the crappy dialogue and plot holes.
Yeah, like I went to the bathroom during one of the scenes. I was like, you don't have to pause it. And I was curious how Tig Notaro would fit into the movie because, as we all know, she was digitally put into the movie to replace Chris D'Elia, who was originally in that role, and he filmed all the scenes. And I think that Snyder did a really seamless job of putting her into the film. There are a couple of shots where you're like, oh, that's definitely green screen behind her.
It's noticeable if you're looking for it.
But he literally like put her in scenes with the actors like in the same shot. And I think it was really impressive how they pulled it off. And it makes sense when they announced that they would be able to do it because she has a role where most of the movie she spends on her own. So that character, I think that Zach was like, oh, 70% of the scenes are just that character isolated, so we can definitely pull this off. But it worked out really well. I wasn't sure. I thought it would be like he would always be cutting to her by herself, but he really like blended her into the movie.
Yeah, pretty much all of it they did with her on a green screen and just digitally imposed her into the shots really effectively. But then obviously I'm sure they reshot some of those individual scenes.
All the solo shots she did.
But like there's a few moments where I was like, oh, that's a clear green screen digital implant of the character.
During the plant scene.
Yeah, like when there's a group shot and Tig Notaro's with them, I'm like, that looks a little fishy to me.
Yeah, but then there are plenty of shots where it's like her and like maybe one or two other people, and it's like, wow, that looks fantastic. It looks like she's in the scene. But all in all, like this movie has some great zombie scenes, fantastic action. There's that scene with that the actress, I can't remember her name.
Well, actually, we'll end it now of the spoiler free. Let's go into this from here on. We're gonna have spoilers, and the character's name is Chambers, played by Samantha Wynn that you're talking about.
Yeah, so Chambers gets trapped in a room filled with like literally dozens of zombies who are hibernating, and they begin waking up one by one, and she just goes. You think she's gonna get killed right away, but she is a total badass, and she's just like, it's like John Wick killing bad guys, her killing zombies. She's just going zombie after zombie, like stabbing them in the head, and then close quarters combat with her handgun, and she just like destroys this room of zombies, even though she ends up getting trapped by the other character.
Because there's two types of zombies in this movie. There's like the kind of slow and non-intelligent zombies, and then there's the zombies who get bit by the alpha, whose name is like Zeus, based off because he shows up at Vegas and looks at the statue of Zeus.
And he's at Olympus.
And so when Zeus, the original zombie, bites people, they become the intelligent ones. But when the non-intelligent ones bite people, they just become these slower zombies, which they can still catch you. But I love like the speed that Zack set them at. It's like not too fast that like you can't outwalk them. Like they can go a little faster than like a steady walk, but you can outrun them for sure. And in this scene with Samantha Wynn as Chambers, it's one of the coolest zombie combat scenes I've ever seen because it has that concept of zombies that are kind of fast but like slow enough that you can handle them, and then close quarters knifing and shooting them in the face for it's like a 2-minute scene of her by herself, and it's incredible.
Yeah, and I love, like you said, the culture of the zombies, and there's a hierarchy. And like when they first get into Las Vegas, the Coyote character, she puts up the offering of that security guard as a sacrificial offering to the alphas, and it's just amazing. It's like this is their kingdom. Like this is their animal kingdom, and the humans are trespassing, and they're giving passage by sacrificing one of their own to keep moving forward in Las Vegas. And it's a fascinating way of looking at the zombie culture and the hierarchy that we had never seen before.
I mean, we see zombies cry. He cries. Yeah. The Zeus cries when he finds his wife's body.
It's so I don't think it's so much it's zombies. I think it's an infection.
Yeah.
And I think that I think Zach might have alluded to the fact that it was done as an experiment by the government, because when Zeus first breaks out of the caravan, he looks like he's wearing army pants.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's definitely a military person.
And he has a military haircut.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I think that he was a subject of some kind of experiment by the government in terms of trying to create a bioweapon, and it broke out.
Yeah, and if you watch, the zombies don't eat people really. They I think maybe off camera they eat people. Like there's a bunch of bones and stuff in that pool, but Zeus just like kind of kills them to kill them and turn them. That's about it. He's like turning them on purpose.
Yeah, and the tiger doesn't eat that guy.
Oh my god, what it does to his head.
The zombie tiger is so awesome. I thought when the zombie tiger walked out, I was like, oh my god, this is insane. And then there's this great scene with Garrett Dillahunt's character where it reminded me of the bear attack in Revenant, where the tiger's just like literally messing with him and playing with him and, slashing his face and throat. And then the tiger just like literally bites down on his skull and breaks it and clean off. It's crazy.
It's like cracking a cantaloupe or something.
The amount of blood in this movie, I don't think I've seen this much blood splatter and spray in any movie before.
Yeah, it's like almost like as much as Kill Bill, the Crazy 88 scene, but that's more of like corny at times, the blood flow, because it's like a spell coming out of a guy's arm. But this is like intense bloody gore all over this movie. Like you're gonna be thinking about blood when you go to bed.
And I think that Dave Bautista and the rest of the cast, they did a really good job. Every character has their own like personality. There's the typical archetypes we see on these teams. But what I love that Zack did is the opening title sequence of this movie is brilliant. It's one of the best title sequences I've seen in a while. And what it does is it establishes each character, but it basically the title sequence basically tells the entire story of a movie version of the outbreak of the zombies. And he reveals each character and like their little parts to play, and it's like
behind the scenes portraits.
Yeah,
like it's cool.
Yeah. And it's like all the beats you would see in a typical zombie movie happen in the opening credits. So then by the time the movie kicks off, you're like, okay, what's going to happen?
I think he just wanted to make you empathize with the characters right away, because he shows you them all killing like or losing parts of their family, and like they hold the portraits of like their loved ones and stuff like that.
And also he's like, we don't need to show the outbreak.
Yeah.
For the entire movie.
Yeah. But if I had to say there's a worst part of the movie, I think it's the father-daughter relationship, which is just so cliche written. Yeah. Kate's character is just like, what are you doing? Like every scene, like she basically gets everyone killed, gets her father killed.
She gets everyone killed.
And she even gets the person killed who she's trying to save. Like she just gets everyone killed, and then at the end, obviously she survives. But you got to have like that character, I guess, for the plot to move forward. I think that's the concept of it, to have like some sort of back and forth.
That's why I think Zack he needed a co-writer for bits like that, in terms of especially the Kate relationship. And
she reminds me so much of the girl in Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're right. Same kind of shit.
Always getting them into crappy situations.
Yeah, exactly. And she survives, and she gets other people killed. And then he makes this romantic relationship with Dave Bautista and his old friend. What's her name? The woman, like the number 2 in the team. And the thing is, like,
Maria,
there's no need to show that there is a relationship between them, because it worked better with them being buddies and friends.
Yeah.
And then like she's like, oh, we used to date, and he's like, I know, I messed it up.
I thought that was over.
Yeah. And then she's like, I love you, and then she gets killed, and it's like, we didn't need to see that. They didn't need to have that. It still would have had a great emotional impact of her death if we thought they were just close, great friends.
Yeah, and some of the conversations and dialogue specifically between Kate and Scott, played by Dave Bautista, you're just like, can you just quick this dialogue up? Can you speed it up? Like, do we have to have a 3-minute convo on the roof before they're turning on the generators about why she doesn't talk to him? It is what it is. I mean, but because Zack's such a great director, I get past it and I move on.
Yeah, the action sequences are fantastic, and it's very thrilling. He's become such a great director in terms of building suspense. There are moments in this movie where I was like, oh, come on, get out of there. And Dave Bautista busts heads in this movie. Like when they're trying to escape and Garrett Dillahunt's character trapped them, and then the zombie army is coming out of the elevator one by one. Fantastic scene. And then Dave Bautista, when he goes, like, he takes out like 10 zombies with hand-to-hand combat. Excellent action scene.
Yeah, and a lot of the gunfire and gunfighting in this movie actually seems realistic, because you'll see people with like rifles, like assault rifles, and they're shooting a bunch of people. I mean, a bunch of zombies in a zombie movie, and they don't really hit any of them, but they're spraying them, and they're falling like pins in a bowling alley, which seems pretty realistic if you're spraying 50 bullets every couple seconds.
Yeah, I think it was really accurate in terms of the damage that those guns cause, for sure.
And one of my favorite parts of the film is the relationship between Omari Hardwick and Matthias Schweighöfer's character Dieter and Vanderho, where like they start off like Vanderho like can't believe that this like skinny like German nerdy guy is like the key to the mission. He's gonna open the vault, and he's always just like having to like hold his hand with everything. But they eventually like have like great chemistry together, and they have like this relationship at the end. Then Dieter saves Vanderho temporarily at the end of the film.
Yeah, and it was a great ending because he saved him by trapping him in the safe. And obviously that's probably the only place you could survive a nuclear attack inside of a fortified safe, I would say. And then Vanderho, eventually we see at the end, breaks out with all the money, and we're like, oh, this is a happy ending for him. He got out unscathed, and he's going to be rich.
Walking around all that radiation definitely would have killed him like pretty quickly.
Yeah, he wouldn't have survived very long after that. But then it's a great scene where he books a private jet, and he's feeling sick, and then he goes into the bathroom and sees that he has a bite on his arm, and it's like, oh shit, he's gonna spread the virus. Even though they nuked Las Vegas, the virus is still gonna get spread.
Yeah, because I was waiting. I'm like, there's no way Zack doesn't leave this movie open-ended with the zombies keeping spreading somehow, just like he does with Dawn of the Dead. And I was thinking, like, what's he gonna do? And like, I thought it would have been cool if maybe when Kate was gonna have to shoot her father in the head, like if she pulls the trigger and the clip's empty.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I thought was gonna happen.
Like, oh
too.
shit, I have no bullets. Then
Yeah.
he has to kill her, and he turns her. That would have been cool too. But it seems like I love the ending, and I love the concept of the zombies gonna keep spreading everywhere, and he's about to land in Mexico City with all that cash and being a zombie.
Yeah, that part of the ending is great. I thought it would have worked better if Dave Bautista survived, and it could have been like a John Wick ending where he's still alive. It's a little bit more uplifting because it ends on a very sad note. Like, she kills her father, and it's like very grim. And so I think that if they both survived, it could have been, and they could have had like a funny little back and forth, like walking away from the helicopter. I think it would have had a little bit better tone for the ending, in my opinion.
Yeah, but also he spent like 4 minutes about to jump onto that helicopter smiling. It's like, bro, get on the helicopter.
Get on the helicopter.
Not only is there a nuke coming, but this badass Zeus zombie with the metal helmet with Gladiator Maximus's helmet is coming for you too. Like, you better get on the helicopter. He's just like, let me keep smiling at you guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that must have been a reference to 300, his whole outfit.
Maybe.
Yeah, it has to have been. It's a red cape.
Yeah.
Red cape, shirtless, and with the
Spartan
metal
helmet,
Yeah,
yeah.
Spartan helmet. Yeah, definitely a reference to 300. And he has like, you could say that the what do you call it? Like the metal beam that he carries around could be a spear.
Yeah, that's just a great point.
Yeah.
Another great reference is Chambers' character, played by Samantha Wynn, where she has the outfit with the red bandana around her head, and it's the exact look of Vasquez in Aliens 2. And like, as soon as I saw that red bandana, at points I was like, at some point she's gonna blow herself up with a grenade. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, the zombies converge on her just like the aliens converge on Vasquez.
So it's a great reference to Aliens too. Aliens,
100%.
All right, that's our quick bonus review on Army of the Dead. If you guys like zombie movies and action movies, definitely check it out. Try to just approach it with having a fun time at the movies, or it's on Netflix streaming for free if you have Netflix. So just enjoy it. Don't get too critical and hate every line of dialogue. It's a lot of fun if you let it be a fun ride.
Agreed. Take care, everyone.
Thank you for watching Raiders of the Lost podcast. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Listen to the audio format of Raiders of the Lost podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and wherever you listen to podcasts. New episodes every Monday and Thursday. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost podcast.